I was 45 years old when I walked into my boss's office and quit. No backup plan, no safety net, just a quiet voice inside me that had been screaming for years. Everyone thought I'd lost my mind. Maybe I had, but staying would have cost me something I couldn't get back. Myself. My name is Sarah. For 20 years I climbed. Every promotion, every raise, every "congratulations, you earned it." I believed I was building something, a career, a life, security. But somewhere along the way, I stopped recognizing the woman in the mirror. I was successful on paper, exhausted in reality. And the worst part? I couldn't remember the last time I felt alive. I worked in pharmaceutical sales. Good money, great benefits, the kind of job people congratulate you for having. I had a nice apartment, a reliable car, a 401k that made my parents proud. But every Sunday night I felt it, that sinking feeling in my chest, the dread, the countdown to Monday. I told myself it was normal. Everyone hates their job sometimes, right? That's just adulthood. Except it wasn't sometimes. It was every day, every meeting, every forced smile with clients I didn't care about, selling products I didn't believe in. I was 45, single, no kids, and I kept thinking, is this it? Is this what I worked so hard for? My friends told me I was lucky. My family reminded me how hard it was to find good jobs at my age, and I agreed with them. I did, until I couldn't anymore. It started small. I'd sit in my car before work, staring at the building, trying to convince myself to go inside. I stopped sleeping well. I'd wake up at 3 a.m., heart racing, feeling this weight on my chest I couldn't explain. My doctor said it was stress, gave me a prescription, told me to take some time off. I took a week. It helped, until I went back, and the weight returned, heavier than before. One night I was scrolling through social media, something I did too much of, and I saw a post from an old college friend. She'd left her corporate job 2 years earlier to start a nonprofit. She looked happy, genuinely happy. I couldn't remember the last time I looked like that. I messaged her. We talked for 2 hours. She didn't try to convince me to quit. She just asked me one question. What would you do if you weren't afraid? I didn't have an answer, and that terrified me more than anything. A few weeks later, I had a panic attack in the middle of a client presentation. Full-blown. Couldn't breathe. Couldn't speak. My manager had to finish for me. I locked myself in the bathroom afterward and cried. Not because I was embarrassed, but because I realized something. I was 45 years old, and I was dying inside. That weekend, I sat down with a journal, something I hadn't done since college, and I wrote. I wrote about what I wanted, what I missed, what I'd given up, and buried somewhere in those pages was a dream I'd forgotten. Before sales, before promotions, before I became someone I didn't recognize, I wanted to teach. I wanted to mentor. I wanted to help people grow, not sell them things they didn't need. I'd convinced myself that dream was naive, impractical, childish. But sitting there at 45, exhausted and empty, I thought, what if it wasn't? I gave myself 1 month. 1 month to figure out if this was just burnout or something deeper. I started volunteering on weekends. A local community center needed someone to teach resume workshops and career coaching. It was unpaid. It was basic. But for the first time in years, I felt something. Purpose. I helped a woman in her 50s rewrite her resume. She'd been out of work for 2 years and didn't think anyone would hire her. 3 weeks later, she got a job. She came back to thank me and she cried. I cried too, because I realized this is what I'd been missing. Not a bigger paycheck, not a fancier title, but meaning. That night, I made the decision. I was going to quit. I didn't tell anyone at first, not my family, not my friends. I knew what they'd say, but I couldn't keep living a life that looked good on the outside while I was falling apart on the inside. I gave my 2 weeks' notice on a Tuesday morning. My boss was shocked. My coworkers thought I was having a midlife crisis. Maybe I was, but I felt lighter than I had in years. The first few months were hard, really hard. I lived off savings. I picked up freelance consulting work to pay the bills. I started building something new, career coaching for women over 40. I wasn't making pharmaceutical money, but I was making a difference. Slowly, clients started finding me. Women who felt stuck, who were scared to start over, who thought it was too late. I told them what I wished someone had told me. It's not too late. It's never too late. One of my clients was 52. She'd been in the same administrative job for 30 years and wanted to pivot into project management. We worked together for 3 months. She got certified. She got hired. She sent me a message that said, "You gave me my life back." That's when I knew. I didn't quit my job. I quit my old life, and I finally started living. A year after I left, my old company reached out. They wanted me back. They offered more money, better title, flexibility. I thought about it. I really did. But then I looked at my calendar. I had 6 coaching sessions that week, a workshop on Saturday, a webinar on Sunday. I was busy. I was challenged. I was tired sometimes, but I wasn't drained. I wasn't empty. I wasn't pretending. I declined the offer, politely, gratefully, but firmly, because the woman they wanted back, she didn't exist anymore. I'd become someone better, someone real. Quitting my job at 45 was the scariest thing I've ever done, and the most honest. I'm not rich. I don't have the same financial cushion I used to, but I have something I didn't have before: peace. I wake up excited. I go to bed fulfilled. I'm helping people find their path because I finally found mine. Would I do it again? In a heartbeat, because I'd rather build a life I love than maintain one that looks good. If you're reading this and you're stuck in a job that drains you, a life that doesn't fit anymore, you're not trapped. You're not too old. You're not being ungrateful. You're just human. And you deserve to feel alive, not just look successful. If this story hit home, drop a comment. Tell me what you're holding on to that's holding you back. Let's remind each other. Courage doesn't mean you're not afraid. It means you move anyway. And if you want more real stories about people who chose themselves, subscribe. Because life's too short to spend it pretending.